Hello, this is Ken Bozeman, Professor Emeritus of Lawrence University in Appleton, Wisconsin. I previously did a video describing what I call the Chiaroscuro whisper, a strategy for rehearsing kinesthetic awareness of how you're tuning the first and second resonances of your vocal tract, which create the first two formants that we hear. The first formant contributes an undervowel tone color that's in the sort of ooh region, and the second formant contributes a higher, I call an overvowel color, that contributes an oi color to the timbre that we hear. We form our vowels out of these two tone colors, and the percentages of them determine the overall depth and clarity of the vowel that we're producing. I encourage you to watch that earlier video, the Chiaroscuro whisper demonstration and explanation, before watching this video. In that video, I described how to do the Chiaroscuro whisper and to develop a kinesthetic awareness of how you're tuning your vocal tract, and its use in setting up any vowel that can be done with passive vowel migration across the range. This video will be focused on how to use the Chiaroscuro whisper to tune your vocal tract for vowels that need active vowel modification. In general, that means any vowel that is sung at a higher pitch than the pitch of its first resonance or first formant. We need to open the vowel, open the timbre, and open the vowel to raise the first resonance and first formant to stay close to the pitch we're singing if we want the pitch to have a full chiaroscuro timbre. Reminder, chiaroscuro from Italian just means bright, dark, combination of brilliance and depth in the tonal output. A quick reminder of the chiaroscuro whisper of a cardinal set of vowels, E, A, E, A, O, U, is this. You'll notice that you're hearing this pitch of the second formant predominantly, and it tunes quite truly to this. The pitches are actually an octave higher than the ones I played on this electric keyboard. Though this is yet untested on a large enough number of subjects to be proven, so far when I coach this with singers, regardless of their voice type and anatomy, they tend to be very close to or exactly on those pitches, which are listed in the first demonstration, but they're B, A, G, D, B, A, G. You simply make a nice resonant position for each of those, very minimally articulated with some honest affect. In order to use this for active vowel modification, it works primarily for the front vowels, to show you what you need to do with them. You find the pitch of your best normal unmodified vowel. So for example, for the E, the B6, and the pitch and noise, or the pitch of the noise of that second formant becomes the auditory target that you try to maintain as you open the vowel to raise the first resonance with it, like this. I'm going to continue to use this target. Whatever I do in terms of opening my mouth, I'm still targeting that pitch noise. That opened up shape is raising the first resonance and the first formant, while I keep the second formant tuned to that auditory target there. How do I know that? You heard me maintain the second formant because I maintained the pitch B6 with that E noise. The first formant opening the mouth raises the first formant. You want to do that with a very comfortable neck and comfortable alignment. And that will work, that shape will work for an E vowel higher in the range. Treble voices above the treble clef eventually will not be able to raise the first resonance and first formant high enough to have a full sound at the same time that they maintain a true E tone color. So they will be need to compromise the clarity of the E component when you're well above the treble clef. You can keep a good E to at least a G5 and maybe a little bit higher, but eventually when you get really high in the treble range, you have to lower the tongue dorsum, which will lose the E tone color, because that when I go from E to A to I'm basically lowering the tongue dorsum. If I do that, in other words, you will not be able to maintain that tone color for your highest pitches. Non-treble voices, basses, baritones, tenors, and anyone that isn't singing above the treble clef can maintain that target B6 tone color for the over vowel. Some may wonder about the tongue tip. Does it always reach the lower teeth, as we normally recommend for most situations in singing, to make sure that the tongue is not hyperfunctional? The tongue is doing a lot of things when we pronounce. It should, however, feel quite comfortable. Depending on how far you modify, and by the way, an E vowel is the most actively modified vowel of all. When you're on a high note, you're the farthest away from the speech position of that vowel, of any vowel that you modify. Depending on your individual morphology, your tongue tip may not reach your lower teeth when you're quite wide-mouthed for the highest pitches on an E vowel. This is not a problem for acoustics, and as long as the tongue is comfortable, it shouldn't be a problem for vocal production at all. You don't need to retract the tongue tip into the body of the tongue. Just let it release towards the teeth, but if it doesn't reach the teeth, it's not a problem. What you're attempting to do is retain the auditory target of the B6 with as relaxed a neck as possible, so that you don't feel any of the effort of the modification or pronunciation in the neck area, near the root of the tongue and so forth. You can also do this with an A vowel. The A pitch would be, actually happens to be the pitch A6. I retain that target as I open more. By the way, for non-treble voices, the vowels that you primarily will need to actively modify are the two closest vowels, E and U. And that's because though the first resonance and first formants of those two vowels are well within your singing range. They're just below the treble clef, and near the bottom of the treble clef, or just below the bottom of the treble clef. The next higher cardinal vowels, A and O, resonances sit high enough near what would be tenor high C that you rarely have to modify those actively. You can just use a resonant speech shape for them. Treble voices, on the other hand, sing at and above the first resonances and first formants of all of your vowels eventually. Remember, all first resonances of vowels are pretty much in contact with the treble clef. They occur from the bottom of the treble clef to the top of the treble clef, generally speaking. And treble voices sing above those pitches and above the treble clef, so they will eventually have to open and actively modify all of their vowels. So the non-treble voices rarely need to modify an A or an E, but treble voices need that often. The A vowel and the O vowel, middle close vowels, resonances sit near the middle of the treble clef, about C5-ish. So when you're above those pitches, you will need to open more. And aw are at about an E flat, depending on the voice, in the treble voice. And so when you're above those pitches, you will need to open those vowels as well. The close round back vowels cannot retain their pure identity above certain pitches. As you just simply have to open those vowels to a near open neighbor. So for example, oo, as you open an oo, you hear it changes vowel quality, whereas the e, I can retain that auditory target for the e no matter how, as I open the mouth, as long as I keep the tongue dorsum high. Another curiosity about this, and one of the reasons a lot of people don't find the best modification for an E, is if I speak at speech level through that active modification, the sound is rather strange. Let me show you. E, normal E, 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 E. It's a fairly tonguey sound. In fact, it feels as if the tongue is in the way, comfortably, but in the way of the sound. E. But at a high pitch, E, E. It works fine at the high pitch because I'm maintaining that E color and I've opened the mouth enough to make some warmth in the sound as well. There's a considerably longer elaboration of these concepts in the second edition of my second book, Kinesthetic Voice Pedagogy, Motivating Acoustic Efficiency, available through Inside View Press. So if you want more information, look there. And there will be some comments in the below this video on YouTube. Thank you very much.